Welcome everyone to Attack Rap. Spencer Byers and Lucas here with me. We are doing a duo show. Poor Nick Kennedy on the DL, on the 10-day DL with a strep throat. So we'll see if we can activate him for next week. But for now, you're stuck with us for the next hour. So Lucas, we'll start off with some players that have been doing really well this week around the OHL. And right now it's starting with Saginaw Spirit forward, who has won the Player of the Week.
Yeah, let's talk about him real quick. Rodwin Dionisio had a fantastic week, scoring 3 goals and 6 assists for a total of 9 points on the week. That's pretty fantastic from Rodwin Dionisio. And the goaltender of the week goes to Mateo Drobak. 3 wins with a goals against average of .162 and a .939 save percentage.
Well, Bradford had a good week this week, and they really need their goalie to be great if they can get themselves out of the Eastern Conference. We'll take a quick look at that. The Eastern Conference is right now gridlocked, as it has been. It's like the 401. All 6 lanes, all jammed up. You see there Sudbury, Brantford, Oshawa, North Bay, Mississauga, Ottawa, all within 8 points of each other from 1st to 6th. 1st and 2nd just clinched their playoff spots this week. So the East is kind of getting itself a little bit amalgamated, but still it is very, very close, Lucas, in that Eastern Conference.
It really is. And let's take a quick look at the Western Conference as well. The London Knights, Saginaw Spirit, and Sioux Greyhounds clinching playoff spots within the last week. Kitchener Rangers just below that with 72 points. Guelph Storm, 57. Owen Sound Attack, 56. Really close race between them for 5th place. Erie and Flint taking the 7 and 8 spot. Again, 1 point between the two of them as well. And then Sarnia and Windsor rounding it out with 48 and 41 points respectively.
Well, with all that being said, I think we've talked about the rest of the OHL enough, Lucas. We'll now go to our 2 guys beside us. We got Sam Ethier and Tomislav Brennan joining us. Sam, Tomislav, thank you for joining us here today.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, with the Attack, you guys have had a great week here at home especially. You guys finally feel like you guys have gotten kind of around at home. We've always talked about the struggles at home so far this year, and now you guys have finally seemingly gotten home put together. What is that like for you guys to be able to get some big wins here at home the last couple of weeks? I'll start with you, Sam.
Yeah, well, I think obviously with our fan base, you know, they've been pretty much showing up to every game. We've had like a pretty packed crowd, and obviously all we want to do is deliver for them, and we think it's just great that it starts to work now, because not only are we having fun, but they're also enjoying it more, and it kind of just raises the whole atmosphere for everyone.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love when the fans get up and out of their seats and it's loud in there. So it's nice to be delivering for them too, and it's also nice for the team getting wins at home. So.
Well, Tomislav, as you mentioned that, we love to talk about here in Owen Sound especially when we talk about other teams in the OHL. We like to think that Bayshore is a pretty loud building. We like to think that Bayshore's got a lot of really passionate fans inside that building. So I'll start with you, Tomislav. What is that like playing in Owen Sound with the passionate, hard-knit fan base?
Oh, it's like no other. It's honestly, you don't get the same atmosphere anywhere else other than you do in the Bayshore. So.
Well, I think, you look into the crowd, and due to it being a small town, you can kind of see people you recognize, and it kind of makes you feel good when you're out there, because not only are you seeing people they're also there supporting you and tuning in every game and giving you what you want, so you give them what you want in return, you know what I mean?
No, that's for sure, because I'll be honest, I work at Tim Hortons across town. Right across the street from OSDSS. So I'm actually very used to serving some of you guys. Like, I've served Tejas Jordan like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
When I say his name, see you later, Tejas, he literally looks at me like, who are you and why are you saying my name to me right now? It's really funny to get you guys kind of like that. Have you guys experienced that a lot going around town? Because again, as you mentioned, Sam, very small community, very tight-knit community. So you go anywhere, you'll see somebody you recognize from the rink, or from a I'll say a food joint like Joe Tomatoes local or what have you. So have you guys really experienced that here in Owen Sound?
One time I was out actually grocery shopping with my billets, and there was a whole family that ran up to me, and they recognized me, and they didn't ask for a picture or anything, but they did just say hi, stop by, and figured, hey, the OHL guy's here, so let's go say hi to him. So that was always nice. It's just nice to have, be recognized in the community. It's something that's really nice for me, and I do enjoy it.
Tomislav, for you, have you been recognized going out? Have you ever been found at the food lane or the No Frills trying to grab some pork, and all of a sudden a fan runs up to you like, hey, I know who you are?
Yeah, it's happened to me a couple times in a grocery store.
Right, you guys really can't go grocery shopping here. You gotta find somewhere else to go. Yeah. So which grocery store is it? You know what? We'll start shouting people out. Where were you guys when you were recognized? Now I'm actually curious.
I think it was in the Zares.
Really?
I think. I'm not 100% sure because I was kind of just on my phone in the car on the drive there, but obviously, got in there and there's a family. It must have been a family-friendly location because there was a family there, and they just stopped by and said hi. So.
Tomislav, for you? Do you remember where you were?
Yeah, Walmart.
Walmart. You bought groceries at Walmart?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure for you guys that was a surreal experience, having people actually notice you out and about. Is that how you guys felt? Like a really surreal moment for
It
you?
was, for sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
God, I feel that way when I'm at Tim Hortons. People say, "Hey, Spencer," and I look at them like, "Did you please tell me you looked at my name tag?" It gets very uncomfortable for me because I look at them the same way Tejas looks at me. I look, "Who are you? Why do you know my
Yeah.
name?" But now going to your guys' season, Sam, you were a U18 draft pick. I love that type of story. I've talked to a couple of FAs when I've done some interviews with other teams. I love the story of guys that get another chance at it. What was that like for you, that moment of being drafted in the U18 draft?
Well, I thought, it was a great opportunity for me. I was a forward growing up, and I switched to D on my original draft year, so obviously that didn't really go to plan. I feel like a lot of teams that may have been interested kind of took a step back almost on me. But after I proved myself in the U18 league as not only a defenseman who could play offense, but also defense as well, it kind of brought attention to my name again. And, it's obviously a different story compared to most of the guys on the team that we have now, but I made it work one way or another, and it's something that I kind of take pride in.
Well, Tomislav, you were drafted in the 9th round of your original year. So unlike Sam, you actually had that, I'll say, that moment at the OHL draft. What was that like for you being drafted in the 9th round?
It was an unreal experience. I was sitting in the living room with my family and found my name on TV. It was awesome.
Well, that must be a surreal moment, being in the living room, kind of like, I'll say, the NFL draft. You guys, of course, everyone watches the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And you get a chance to see those guys react around all their family, wherever they happen to come from. So that must have been really cool as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
All right, so Sam, let's kind of change things up a little bit. Sam, I want to talk to you about before you came to Owen Sound. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you played for, was it the Rockford U18?
Rockland
Nationals.
U18.
That's my apologies. So just let us know, what was that like, and what's the difference between playing there and then playing for the Owen Sound Attack?
Well, I think the dynamic there was much different. Obviously, the pace of the game isn't as fast, so I thought the way I was able to play was, obviously, I could collect my info and make plays that were, kind of at my pace, whereas, the OHL, you kind of have to step up your game and match the other player's speed, because if you don't, then obviously you're in trouble, right?
So the OHL speed is a lot faster than
for
where
sure.
you were before?
It's probably the first thing I noticed when I got here. It's been pretty crazy, but I feel like I've adjusted pretty well since I've gotten here.
And Tomislav, I believe you played for the Ottawa Junior Senators before you came to the Owen Sound Attack. What was that like for you and for your transition between leagues?
Well, I played, it was the Junior A in Ottawa, so a fast pace, but definitely not as quick as it is here. And it's just very, very professional in Owen Sound. We keep it, it's different than other teams. So.
Well, with all that being said, because with my little bit of research, I found out you guys are both basically from the Ottawa area.
We sure are.
So does that happen? Is that a little bit surreal for you guys, knowing not only are you guys playing in the OHL on the same team, you guys are from the same area? Like,
Yeah.
you probably know some of the same people,
Yeah, we
played
sure
around
do.
with some of the same junior guys. So I'll ask the question of, did you guys know of each other, know about each other before you guys came to the OHL?
We went to the same elementary and high school.
Yeah.
That is really interesting. That
Yeah.
sounds like people like where I'm from, where I speak to people and they're like, oh, I know somebody you went to high school with because of just how small our community is. So you guys live in Ottawa, the capital of the nation, and you guys still, same elementary school, same high school, what is that like, playing with somebody you went to elementary school with, Sam?
Well, obviously, I think it's just great to know, for me being my first year, being able to enter, into the league, knowing some of the guys on the team, I can look at someone like Tomislav, for example, and, if ever I have questions or I need some sort of support in any way, I know he's there, and I know he's obviously had a similar path to me, just a year older, so I can always ask questions, and it's just great to have like a good friend like that to talk with, right?
Well, Tomislav, what was it like for you playing with, a high school, an elementary school, I won't say friend, but colleague, somebody you saw in the someone saw in the halls, someone were close to lockers in?
Yeah, friend for sure. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome having another familiar face here because we're pretty far from home.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Only a little bit, only what?
Just a little bit far. Yeah, I actually saw that. I did a bit of research yesterday as well, and I saw that exact same thing. You guys are from the same area. I was going to ask that same question.
Yeah,
That's
same
really cool that you
neighborhood,
guys, like you said, kind of went through the same path.
Yep.
You guys went to the same elementary school, and now you play for the same OHL team. That's got to be a pretty amazing experience for the both of you guys at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever get texts from friends back home where it's like, you know, hey, you play with Tomislav, or hey, you play with Sam? Like,
I've gotten some occasional texts for sure.
Like that must be really weird. Like
It is.
that's got to be a little, I'll say, surreal. Just
Yeah,
having to
it
be
is.
like, get a text from your buddy, and he's like, "Hey, I was watching your game, and I saw Tomislav on the ice. Like, when did he get on your team?" And
Yeah.
you're like, "Well, no, actually, we've been together for the whole year so
Yeah.
far." That's just. And that is amazing, guys. That is really cool. Especially, again, a guy from the area. I'm from Wyerton, lived here, went to high school here in Owen Sound. That's basically my story. Where, hey, I knew that person in high school, I knew that person in elementary school, and you guys are telling me that in Big Ottawa, where there's, what, 500,000, 300,000?
Million, I believe.
Is it up to
Yeah.
a million?
Yeah.
I guess living in Toronto makes me feel, like, change that perspective a little bit. Because when I'm from Owen Sound, big town Sarnia, big town's Kitchener, big town's Guelph. You move to Toronto, there's no such thing as a big town.
Exactly.
Because you're from every borough where there's 1 million people, there's 500,000 people, there's 200,000 people. So it kind of changes that perspective a little bit. Now, we're going to move over to a little more fun topics, for me at least. Who's got the aux in the locker room? Who gets to blast their music as loud as they want in the locker room,
I
Sam?
think Steiner's got he's got it most of the time. But
Steiner has game days and Jordo has practices occasionally.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was actually going to bring that up because I've seen Tejas walk down the stairs with the big speaker a few times when I'm over by your locker room. I was going to bring that up. So, but Steiner has it during or before the games?
Yeah,
Yes.
Steiner has it for games, and then
So
for
who made
most
that
of the
decision?
practices.
Who made the decision, Tomislav? Who made that choice?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
Does anyone fight him for it?
No, all I know is that we've got nothing to do with it, and
So
we kind of just respect it.
It just kind of happened?
Yeah.
Like, was it already like that when you guys joined the team? Or
Well-
did it just kind of happen and everyone just went with it?
Well, I don't know. I guess at the beginning of the year, I don't know. I wasn't in this conversation.
Yeah.
But he
Well, do
has
you
good.
feel disrespected, Tomislav?
No, he has good music. I don't. I don't
we're
mind
not.
it.
There's nothing to complain about. Maybe if the music wasn't great, then we would try and question it. But again, he's doing a good
Okay,
job.
well,
They're both doing a
as
good
long as
job.
the music's good.
Yeah,
I can
that's-
tell you, as a guy who works in fast food and we have to listen to the radio, I'm not going to say I dislike any of the radio, but
Yeah,
I'd rather
there's-
listen to my music on my speakers. All I'm going to say about that.
for sure.
So it's nice to hear at least you guys have good tunes before the game and during practice and stuff like that. And we might as well keep it with your team. You guys have one of the best goalies in the OHL. Right around your age group, too, is
Yeah,
Carter George.
yeah.
Sam, what is it like defending in front of a guy like Carter George?
Well, I just think my confidence is like almost goes through the roof sometimes. Like, obviously, for me, it's been a bit of a battle to get into the lineup, and that's kind of the way it is on your first year. But knowing I have someone like that behind me when I am on the ice, it's just a great feeling knowing I could not try something more risky, but also just have more confidence making the plays I like want myself to make. You know what I mean?
Well, Tomislav is a forward. What's it like, I'll say, necessarily forechecking, but also like having that opportunity to play, maybe take an extra risk because you've got such a good goalie behind you?
Yeah, for sure. It's also great in the D zone when you know that he can handle a puck really well and actually give you a crisp pass for a break. So it's good. It's he's unreal.
That's a great point. Is that he is such a great puck mover. Like
Yeah.
you don't give him that credit because he's such a good puck stopper, but he does love coming out of that net, going close to the blue line and firing a puck during the power play. Sometimes I get a little worried because when you take the more risks, sometimes you can get caught, which does obviously when you're a good puck handler, you get more chances to do it, which means you can make more mistakes. But he is so good at moving that puck. Like I can't think of a moment this season where he's made that error with the puck or made a really bad pass that's costed you guys, which again just is a testament to how good he is with the puck.
Yeah.
It's very solid.
Does he practice that?
Oh yeah.
Is that
in
something
practice.
you guys watch?
Yeah.
Him doing spinoramas like Patrick Waugh at the red line?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever see that? Him trying out some stuff?
Yeah, he messes around with the puck a lot during practice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's have a little bit of a question for something that happens during the game. You're 1-0. Are you sniping or are you dangling? So let's start with you, Tomislav.
I'll probably dangle.
Dangle?
Yeah, dangle.
Well, it depends how much time I have, but I usually just shoot the puck. I don't know. I
Just
feel
shoot the puck and hope it goes in?
Yeah, I'm obviously aiming it somewhere. I hope, but yeah, I've usually just been a shooter.
Well,
the one knows like that.
Well, what about say a penalty shot or a shootout?
Penalty shot, I would try something.
Would you go as slow as Easton Cowan? Because he went slow.
he
My
did.
God, did you guys?
did go
that was hard to watch as a graphics operator for the Owen Sound
Yeah.
attack. I had to watch him slowly approach through the circle. And yeah, I know that's the move. You see Kucherov do it. You see the NHLers do it. But it's got to be, I'll say, even aggravating for a goalie.
Yeah, it definitely. I'm sure it was, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of just I almost like come up with the idea before I go out, right? It's not something that I think about like, you know, on the talk show like this where I'm kind of like, oh, I've got these 3 moves that I go through my mind with. It's kind of just, it pops up and I'm like, I'm going to try that. And then I go in and do it.
Well, Tomislav, how does it work for you? Because obviously defenseman versus forward is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So, Tomislav, what are you thinking about, say, penalty shot or shootout?
Just going in slow, making head fakes, stick handling, seeing what he bites on, trying to capitalize on what
Does
I
that
see.
change with goalies as well? Because I think you guys obviously have, I'll say, scouting reports on each goalie or moves against each goalie. So does that also affect that a little bit?
Yeah, it can, for sure, but sure.
You trust the shot, Thomas.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You trust the shot.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what? That's fair enough. I can respect that.
I also just do the same move every time, so.
Well, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
always work, but.
I don't know if that's an Ottawa slang you guys use, but colloquially here in Owen Sound, that's something we use a lot. If it ain't
Yeah.
broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
You know, just like most of the houses here in the area. But we will move off of. I think we'll stop berating you guys. We'll stop putting you under the microscope, and we'll move over to the highlights. A lot of games going on the last couple of weeks. You guys have 4 games in the last week with some big wins and a couple games where you might have just let it get away from you. Sadly, I think London's kind of that big one, Lucas.
Yeah, I would think so too. And just a quick mention with the Easton Cowan penalty shot, I was the camera guy on ISL for that. So I watched him moving in slow and I got confused. Like, when is he going to take the shot? I meant to bring that up earlier, but no, I do think that definitely was one game that did kind of get away from you guys. But it's also one of those games where it very easily could have went back in your direction too, depending on what time in the game, right?
Yeah.
That's the way that you guys are. I haven't been around the team very long, but what I do know is you guys have no quit. Whenever you guys are down, you're fighting to try and get it back, and I respect that a lot about you guys. I really do.
Thanks.
Well, the great Mark Perry, I think it's time to run some highlights. So, Oshawa versus Owen Sound. Big game down in Oshawa, down in the GTA. And I know some of these as a defenseman, hope he got that puck. Hope he got his picture with that puck. You see Burrows there in the bottom corner going to pick that one out of the net. As Barlow got a lot of shine in this one because this game was big for both teams. Again, Oshawa in that slog for first in the East as the attack continued. I believe they're also 6th in the Western Conference. A little bit of a gap, though, between the London Knights and basically everybody else. No offense there to the Sioux Greyhounds. As Carter George was another big story, Lucas. He was fantastic for Owen Sound. He's a big reason why Owen Sound was able to come away with a win at home against Oshawa is because of just how good their, draft eligible netminder was.
He really is an incredible goaltender, that's for sure.
And again, in his draft year, which adds to the hype and the mystique of Carter George, as Oshawa, you felt like, especially coming into Owen Sound, maybe had some of the better chances, but when you've got, no offense to Oster, who plays the most minutes in the OHL, as you see here again, Carter George flashing the pad on that one, which, as you can tell by Oshawa's reaction, may have saved the game in some aspects, as the power play for Owen Sound has been good all year, and it continued to be. Not necessarily in this one, as just missed that one was Barlow. I know he'd love to have that one back. As you see, and you see George there being the puck player, almost made the error, but again, it didn't cost his team as they immediately got the puck back and he was able to get himself set. As they still got this great opportunity, but because George was able to get himself set and square, hard to beat. Oshawa really did turn it on late in this third period. As you see, they're right on top of the blue paint, not able to muscle it through Carter. As now we go to overtime, where this great defensive play by Owen Sound, which I know is coming up just momentarily. I think Owen Sound had a majority of the possession, then lost it, and then right there taken away. Barlow in all alone. Tired legs on Oshawa, and 5-hole. No doubt about it, and you saw there with the arms. The game is over, ladies and gentlemen, and Owen Sound gets the big home win against the Oshawa Generals. And again, no offense to Colby Barlow. I spoke to Carter George after the game. Carter was the number one star, even with Barlow's 2 goals. And Lucas, I think it was well-deserved for Carter George.
I mean, it was. When you look at the shots there, 42 saves for Carter George, and just like we said, just a great goaltender. Got a lot of respect for him. I got to learn more about him in my time here in Owen Sound, and I really do think that he's something special for the Owen Sound attack.
That he is, and we'll now move it to you guys. You guys had a chance to rewatch that game just now. You guys obviously were, watching it or playing in that game. So what was that like for you guys playing against Oshawa, a team that's trying to climb their way up the Eastern standings with how close they are, Sam? And you guys come up with a great goal-scoring performance by Barlow and a great goaltending performance from Carter George.
Well, I think, everyone's trying their best at all times, and it is it's a pretty clear indication that Carter does help us out a lot, and obviously Barlow as well. It's just great to have a couple guys like that on the team that can really help us and win us games, you know what I mean?
Well, Tomislav, for you.
Yeah, 100%. Having a good solid back end and great top guys that can score for us. We're good against any team, especially Oshawa that night.
And as we saw in that replay package, Sam Sedley, of course, breaking the defense attack point record. What's it like for you guys? We'll start with you, Tomislav. What's it like for you guys being able to watch and play with Sam Sedley every week?
Well, he's a pro. It's clear to everyone, especially in the room, how he carries himself and takes care of his body. So, yeah, he's a guy that you can see moving up in levels.
For sure. Well, for me, obviously there's lots to learn from his game. I get chirped about it a little bit in the room for being like a little 2.0 version of him every once in a while when I'm trying to learn stuff that he does. But obviously there is a lot to learn, and obviously, he's got the stats to prove it. It was pretty amazing accomplishment for him, and all the boys are happy for him, and it's just good to see him succeed like that.
Now, with all that being said, him setting the record and being now the top assisting and point-getting defenseman, we talk about it a lot with the attack media, that he's probably the emotional leader for you guys. He's very emotional. You can see it on the ice, even during, the TV timeouts, the way he kind of reacts to things and just his mannerisms and stuff he weighs. What is that like for you guys to have him, on your side, but also being that kind of emotional guy that, you can kind of wears his, heart on his sleeve, if you will, Sam?
Yeah, well, I think, he is a good leader in our team and usually does what's best for the team. Obviously, there are some very frustrating moments in a game, whether it's, the reffing or maybe you had a great opportunity and you fanned on it, whatever the case may be. But I always thought, he is a very emotional player, but he does do a good job of, controlling his emotions, and, he's always on the bench after a goal against or whatever the case may be, and he lets us know, what we have to do next, how we're going to do it, and, you got to have respect for that.
Yeah, he competes. He does everything. So, it's for sure frustrating playing a hockey game sometimes, but he does a good job of carrying himself. So,
do you guys ever feed off that emotion? Being able to kind of feel him, getting up or getting a little up,
Well, he can definitely impact us, but I try and, personally at least, I try and kind of just stay in my own zone, if that makes sense. But there are times where, say that we are going on a bit of a roll, maybe he was part of a nice goal that just happened, and he's all hyped up about it, and he gets back to the bench and he's getting all the other guys going. That's something that we do want, and I'll be glad to join in on that and see what I can get from that, right? And next thing you know, our whole team's working twice as hard as we were going into the game, so that's always good.
Yeah.
You ever feed off him, Tomislav?
Yeah, he gets me pumped. Yeah, he gets me pumped on the bench for sure.
Well, I mean, it's got to be nice to have a guy like that to be able to get you guys back into the game. Say something happens, you guys kind of, a ref, bad call, whatever. I'll say the Cowan situation where, I know Lucas, you got the shot of it, we got the replay of it. Wasn't a penalty shot, but with all that being said, being able to keep you guys locked in and staying in the game.
Yeah.
Being able to kind of, refocus, if you will, because obviously it's really hard to do that when you feel like you've been stiffed by the referees or by, whatever, but it's good to kind of get yourself locked in, and guys like Sedley can definitely be a main component to that with his emotional kind of hard-on sleeve, as I mentioned, being, and the way he reacts and acts, especially on the ice. Because again, I still love going to TV timeouts, looking over at the ice and seeing Sedley talking or kind of, skating around. You can just kind of tell that he's upset or he's very hyped. There's really no in between, which is another thing I really love. What I love, a guy that's okay to be like, hey, ref, come on.
He's passionate.
Very, very passionate. I love guys with especially a lot of passion, especially on the ice, and maybe not off it, trying to start some stuff like I've seen currently on my Score app. But Lucas, with all of that being said, move over some more of the fun questions. You guys are from Ottawa. You guys got to get a winner in Ottawa. It's not like Toronto where if there's a centimeter of snow, everyone's driving 40. Yeah. So what's it like being here in Owen Sound with the winter? We've had now 2 big snowstorms. It's kind of came all very quickly. And then the first one kind of got away from us. It left us for a couple months. Now we're back at it again. So what's it like it been for weather-wise for you guys here in Owen Sound?
I guess unpredictable has been the word I'm looking for. It's kind of, in Ottawa you also have all your buddies and everyone's like, there's a couple apps there that tell you if it's going to be a snow day or not when you're going to school. So everyone's pretty updated on that. But, Owen Sound and the way it is, it's like, it almost felt like there was a second winter because it took a break for like almost a month, it seemed like. And then it's
back again.
Back again now, right? So anyways, I don't know if it's usually like that, but
it's been the past couple of years it's been like that. Usually we used to just get the big heavy snowstorm and it stayed for like 4 months and then it'd finally leave us. Now it's like, we're going to get a heavy snowstorm, roads are going to be gone, you can't go to work for 2 days. Then it goes away, and you're like, oh, this is great, we get summer back, you get a lawn chair, and then it snows again, and it's negative 17 outside, and everyone hates it, and everyone complains about it.
Yeah.
Tomislav, what's it been like for you with the move from Ottawa here to Owen Sound with the weather?
Well, unpredictable for sure. Yeah, it's a little different, but...
Only a little.
Yeah.
It's definitely different from what it used to be. I mean, my parents were from here, and they came up here a few weeks ago, and they said this is not the winter that we're used to, right? Things have definitely changed over the last few years, and it's definitely been an interesting winter, to say the least.
I would say that, especially having to make the drive up 6 every day for work. It's not been nice some mornings, and other mornings it's been like, is it even January right now? Which, I mean, again, adds to it. But for you guys, and I mean this as a hockey perspective, when there's snow on the ground, does it kind of change the way you guys kind of react? Because obviously hockey's a winter sport. Obviously there's always normally snow on the ground. When there's no snow, when it's kind of warm, maybe when we get closer to playoffs, is that kind of change the way you guys do things? Just quick?
I don't think it does for me, apart from, maybe wearing different clothes to the rink. I played a lot of spring hockey, summer hockey growing up, so it's always kind of been a 4-season sport for me, personally, and I don't really think the weather changes anything.
Yeah, no. It is way nicer walking in shorts to the rink.
Well, with that, I know you guys will be living in your snowsuits. We'll be back after this for more Attack Ride with Tomislav, myself, Lucas, Spencer, as well as Sam.
How long is it?
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
This March, the biggest talent competition in the country is going to get even bigger. Canada's Got Talent is back, and this season's winner is going to walk away with a life-changing grand prize of $1 million. The biggest prize in Canadian TV history, all thanks to Rogers. So expect $1 million talent every Tuesday. Canada's Got Talent, the $1 million season, premieres March 19th only on City TV and stream it on City TV Plus.
Get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. Join us every week for the most in-depth analysis, heated debates, and special guests. We give you action off the ice and off the field with all the drama and all the fun. Don't miss out on the sports talk show that's taking the game to a whole new level. Get your game face on and join us on RTV Sports Wrap.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to RogersTV.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at RogersTV.com.
Welcome back to Attack Wrap. Spencer Byers here with me, Lucas, doing the show while Nick Kennedy's back on the 10-day DL with strep throat. Hopefully we can activate him for next week, but we'll have to see. We'll see if I get the call back here from the great Mark Perry, or if maybe Adrian Musso makes his way back, or whatever have you. But here with us, Sam Ethier and Tomislav Brennan. Hi guys again, the Ottawa natives, the high school and elementary school friends right beside us, only making me sweat a little bit right beside you guys, because I am only 5'4", so both you guys make me look like a dwarf while I walk around the room. At least Hookie wasn't here today. I interviewed Hookie like my second game ever, and that was probably a bad idea with him being like 6'8" on skates and me being 5'4", not including the mohawk. So it wasn't really a fair fight for me. It wasn't really a fair fight. But we want to start off with a fun one, Lucas. I'll let you go ahead with it.
So we've already heard some pretty good stories from you guys so far in this Attack Wrap, and I was just wondering, what's the strangest chirp that you guys have ever either received or given out? Preferably received, though. Sam, we'll start with you.
Received. We had Secret Santa for Christmas, obviously, and Jake Crawford actually had me as his name, and everyone kind of got, you got like a joking gift and then like a legit gift, and mine was a T-shirt that said like Sedley 2.0 on it, so that was like the one I received. But given one time I was in the bus and we have like a bunch of rookie initiation stuff, so I went back there and they asked us to chirp one of the guys that was back there, and I told Stuart that we could park the bus that we were on in between his two front teeth.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
fantastic. Did you get hit for that one? Because I know Stuart's kind of a rough player on the ice.
He is, but he's actually surprisingly friendly off the ice, and if there's anyone that's gonna get into like a little chirp battle with someone on the team, it's him. I feel like he's there for it more than anyone else.
But does he fight back though?
He definitely can. But I don't think he did that time. I just think he, in a way, he kind of let me off the hook.
Oh, he let you get away with that one?
Yeah.
He said, hey, Sam, you get one.
Yeah, you got
your
one.
Yeah, you get one free shot.
Yeah,
that's
free
it.
shot, exactly.
All right, Tomislav, your strangest chirp that you've ever received or given.
I've been trying to think, and I just can't think of one right now.
We can come back to you on that question later if you want to.
I don't think anything I can say on camera.
Okay, fine.
Fair enough.
Is there not a PG one you don't think you can think of? Because obviously, as we know, you guys on the ice, you guys are as bad as sailors at some points, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
See,
I
you know what I
of.
wish? I can't wait till off the air I ask you that question. I hear all the ones you can't say on air, because you're definitely thinking of some ones that, like, you're thinking, yeah, that's R, that's 14A, that's R.
Can't say that. Nope, can't say that either.
Can't even get close.
No.
But we want to move on to the trivia questions of the day, guys. So let's take a quick look at trivia question number 1. How many years in a row have the Owens at Attack won 30 games? If you call in right now to the great Mark Perry and you get this question right, you can get tickets to Wednesday's game against the Barrie Colts on February 21st, happening again tomorrow night. I will be in the control room for that one, Lucas. I think you'll be doing camera for that one.
Yeah, I will most likely be in the Owen Sound corner trying to get some more good shots in the second period.
And hopefully not get any more Easton Cowan phantom penalty shots. But
well,
anyway,
unless he was traded to Barrie without my knowledge.
Well, yeah, unless he got cut somehow, which wouldn't that be nice? As I won't even not try to show my London Knight bias on this show, as I'm surrounded by TAC jerseys. I got my TAC jersey over there in my bag as we did the sports wrap. We're doing sports wrap tomorrow, so make sure my jersey's here for when I'm here for it. But back for you guys. Now, I saw a fun one. What celly have you seen that you don't have the guts to do? What is the best celly you've ever seen, Sam, that you don't have like the guts to do? If you scored a nasty goal.
A couple times, like overtime winners, you see guys like drop down to both knees. They're spinning around.
Do the Yakubov?
There's tons of different. Yeah, there's tons of different like ways to do it. But some guys like to do like heartbreaker on 2 knees. It gets wild. I wouldn't bother doing something like that if I scored.
Well, what about the one you've done? Is there a celly you've done that you thought maybe looking back at it, a little over the top, don't regret it?
Not really. I find I'm not like a crazy Sally type of guy. Puck goes in, puck goes in. I'm happy to score. Obviously, I'm sure everyone else is, but I don't know. I've just never been the guy to kind of go ballistic on a celebration like that.
What about you, Tomislav?
No, I don't really. I'm not a flashy guy, so.
Well, what about scene? Have you ever seen one where you're like, now that seems a little over the top?
No, a lot of crazy sellies have been from us this year, and I think they're pretty valid for the goal that they just score. So
I gotta be honest, guys. I actually saw one recently going through my Instagram reels because I'm better than those people who go on TikTok. I prefer Instagram. So when I was going through, I saw a kid playing, and I can't remember what, it's like a high school league over in the city, and he scores the goal off the bottle, right? He grabs the goalie's bottle, takes a drink of it, and then does the handshake, and then skates to the box. So not only did he do it, he also knew he was getting a penalty for it. I thought that's fantastic. Because not only can I see myself doing it, I can see myself doing something to that guy after he did it. So I thought it was really funny. Really funny.
I saw that too. That might be one of my all-time favorite sellies I've ever seen. That was pretty funny. That was good.
It got me out of my chair. I was like, that's fantastic. And not only, it was a good goal too. It wasn't like it was a cheap one. He sniped it. That was a good shot. So, again, for me, I definitely would have done something like that. Because I like to think of myself as a little bit of a flashy guy, charismatic. So I like to think that'd be a fun one to do.
Yeah.
A little bit of fun.
For sure.
Especially trying to upset the other team. Kind of like Riley Craig with Morgan Riley. But we won't talk about that with this one.
No, we'll talk about that in Sports Wrap a little bit more in depth. But for now, we'll take a bit of a step outside of hockey just for a second. What is one sports event that doesn't include hockey that you would love to go see for yourself? Tomislav?
I don't know. I don't really watch other sports.
Just hockey?
Yeah.
Sound like Lucas.
Hey, he's not wrong, but I'm working on it.
We had the Super Bowl party the other day with the whole team, and I feel like that would have been something, like, obviously would have been a pretty good experience to go see it in person, right?
Well, it would have been, but the Niners didn't win, so it would have been very depressing to see.
Yes, but it still would have been an enjoyable experience, right?
Well, if you're a neutral. As a fan, I sat there with my jersey, kind of crying myself to sleep that night.
Yeah.
Damn, so thanks for opening that one back up. Like, I haven't lived through that one on Sports Wrap, because I know I'm going to get it tomorrow from the great Manny Pavos. So, I think the World Cup, for me, would be such a fun one. Especially because Canada's going to be there. Now it's going to be in Canada, like in 2028. I think that's going to be a really fun one for, I'll say, us Canadians, because we don't get to go very often.
Yeah.
So getting a chance to go and compete and host it even, then being in Toronto and Vancouver, like that's going to be so much fun. And hopefully I get a chance to go. I probably won't be able to afford it, but we'll see if I can take out another loan and try to get myself there and get some tickets down to BMO. But even like, I'll say the Grey Cup, for example, which again, not a Canadian football fan, don't act like I watch it, but the Grey Cup, it's a very big event here in Canada, especially for the Prairies, especially for teams like that. So lots of great events, that don't necessarily involve hockey, but obviously the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7, if your team's in it, you want to be there. Yeah. Even, with the Attack, that's why everyone went to Mississauga. Everyone went to Mississauga because that's where they won the OHL championship. Everyone remembers Jared Maidens as a rookie scoring that game-winning goal. I remember, and I wasn't even there. My mother was working nights and said, "Spencer, we can't go," and I was very upset. I was very upset as a, great 2011, 9-year-old. I was very upset with that one. That one still kind of breaks my heart. I wasn't there to watch it. But going back to you guys, with that being said, I know we talk about the OHL benchmarks, that 30-win question that the great Mark Perry put up for the trivia. It's a benchmark for the Owens on Attack fan base. We like to hit the 30 wins. We obviously like to make the playoffs, find our way in there. Does that ever kind of play on you guys, thinking about what the fans, are trying to push for example, Sam?
Well, obviously, I think it's good to know that there's people behind us wanting us to succeed every year. You know what I mean? You see some teams that are, all in one year, and then they completely sell the next year, and they're just the bottom last in the league. And yes, they are rebuilding towards something better, but I just feel like it's almost a waste of a season. I do appreciate the fact that, the organization doesn't let a year go to waste.
Tomislav?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think so too.
Well, okay, and I got to ask this question, because I happen to be a part of like 3 or 4 of the OHL Attack fan pages on Facebook, the archaic Facebook. Are either of you knowingly, or are you in it, or are you hear about it?
Not really, no.
Well, I guess lucky you guys, because I happen to be in them, and I get to hear all the fans complain and moan and whine about lots of things that I just don't think really matter. But that's just me. So I'm happy to hear you guys. I know, because I know a lot of family are also in them as well, which is why a lot of the curators try to be careful with what criticism they put in the chats, because a lot of family from previous teams are in there, and they kind of hang out with the Attack fan base, because as we talked about, very tight-knit, very small community. So, if you're a parent and somebody trashes your kid, that can be very nice, especially when the group's not that small. We're not London, we're not Windsor, we're not one of the Toronto teams. We don't have that big of a pull. So when it comes to that type of stuff, I think it's kind of important that fans do realize that at the end of the day, you're 17, you're 18. Like, you guys are just, trying to make your way through high school. By the way, how's that going? Because I assume you guys go to West Hill. Well, OSDSS, I should say.
Yeah. I've pretty much wrapped up everything at this point. I've got a couple online courses to finish up, and, at the end of the season when I go home to Ottawa, if ever there's anything left for me to do, I get to do a little bit of online work back in Ottawa, but, it was a pretty quick process.
Tomislav, for you, I think you're done.
I graduated.
Yeah,
you
graduated.
Yeah.
So what was that like going to high school here for at least a couple of years?
I was only here the 1 year for high school, and it was cool. Like, it was all right.
Yeah.
You didn't dislike OSDSS, the inferior school in town? As a St. Mary's graduate, might I add?
It was fine. People were nice.
Yeah.
That's debatable. That's debatable for the Hicks School. Anyway, we'll now move off to some more highlights where Brantford, Owen Sound made the trip down to Brantford to take on the Bulldogs, which, as you just saw, had the goalie of the week. So obviously he continued his torrid pace down there with the Bulldogs. I also know the great Mark McKelvey was down there doing the radio color. As you see there, Brantford with the turnover in the neutral zone are able to beat Carter George. And I believe that's Jack guy with the little shirt yank like he's Shaquille O'Neal over there. I'm not exactly sure I'm a fan of that celebration. Maybe I would have Morgan Riley'd him, if you will. I also like those jerseys though, Lucas. I do like that B with the claw over it. Makes me think of the Bruins, which I am obviously a Bruins fan, so I will not act again without my bias on that one.
Oh, good looking jerseys, I agree with you.
Obviously not as good as the boys in white.
Of course.
As fighting still there in the offensive zone. Fresh off of a penalty, they're able to get a power play marker, are the Bulldogs. Freshly in Brantford. Of course, moving down from Hamilton. Has 2-0 there late in the third period. Again, very early on that power play. Basically right off the face-off. So, fairly hard for Carter George to be able to get around on that one. But the attack, again, as you mentioned, Lucas, they don't stop fighting back. They were deep there in the offensive zone trying to find one. Of course, then they get caught on the break, and a little tip there looked like it caught George 5-hole as he tried to make his way across, and the Bulldogs make it 3-0, and I believe do take the win on that one 3-0. Again, adding to Mateo Drobak's Player of the Week nod with his .939 save percentage, which is just ridiculous.
That's some insane goaltending numbers. And again, it's only a week. It doesn't span over the entire season. But for a goaltender to have an incredible week like that is noticeable for the entire league. It puts the entire league on notice that this is the guy that you might be playing within these next couple of days. You got to watch out for him.
Now, I think we are going to go to one more game before we let the boys continue talking. We're going to go to London. We're going to go to when the London Knights made their way here to Owen Sound, where we've talked about it a lot. Let's take a little look at how the game unfolded, then we'll get to the Easton Cowan phantom penalty shot that Lucas got, the best shot of. So again, I was doing graphics for this one, so I was in the room. As you see there, the attack early in the game, as I just got the lines rotating. As a little turnover there by Tejas gave it away, and starting off the scoring early was Ruslan Gazizov. And obviously Tejas would love that one back, but as we talked about on this show, when you've got Carter George in net, you can take a couple of risks, and sadly that one didn't work out for Tejas. But the Lights, after an 8-2 loss down in Brantford, were definitely ready for this one. Or I guess actually that was against the Sioux. It was an 8-2 loss to the Sioux. As you see there, Denny Gore ties it up at 1 early in that first period, beating Michael Simpson, who was, I believe, reigning goalie of the month in the previous month down in January. He just hasn't had a lot of starts. He's back in the net in that one. As you see there, fighting for it are the ugly boys in white. As that backer gets on the net, and then Caleb Lawrence, the former attack player. And again, that's the one question I wish JC would have asked him. Who was he yelling at when he scored that goal? Because I saw that on the first replay, that he was yakking at somebody, and I would love to have heard what he said. Obviously, it probably wasn't something very polite, but I was hoping about Christmas cards. That's what I was hoping about. As you see there, a big save by Michael Simpson, who didn't get a lot of action in that first period. You saw there at that point only 6 shots, but had to be stout on that one. And then on the penalty kill, the potent London Knights, who had 22 shorthanded goals, make that 23, with Ruslan Gazizov getting that marker. And London taking the 3-1 lead. And you see there Ruslan Gazizov. And I thought that was an interesting move, too, doing like the tomahawk as he went to the bench, showing them the elbow. I thought that was kind of interesting, but great pass from the defensive end by the Knights, and then a great spin by Gazizov to keep possession of it, makes it 3-1. And again, that was their 23rd shorthanded goal of the season, so they have been potent on the PK, have the London Knights, as I believe they lead the OHL in PK with the Attack just behind them in both power play and penalty kill, but again, just as the Attack, I think, are second and third in both categories. But then you see there the Attack right off of the start of the second period had a couple big opportunities there against Michael Simpson. We're not able to cash either of them in. And another half break here turns into a full break for the Attack, and I believe that's McHugh just could not beat Simpson. So the Attack had their chances in the second period. They still keep it there in a good shot, but saved by Simpson. And then again, the number one power play in the OHL, there are the London Knights, who just had the onslaught here in the second period. They had about, I think, 6 or 7 shots that Carter Dortz made a save on. There's 3 right there in a row, just flashing the pad and the glove to keep the Attack within 2. As again, Carter George has been stellar this year, leading the OHL in save percentage, still to this point in time. And then in another power play, because London is the most penalized team in the OHL. Hard to be the best team, the most penalized team, and the best on both the PK and the power play. But not on that one is Barlow with another beauty, continuing again his hot week / month and a half, as he gets the goal to bring them within 1. And here it is, Lucas, the great shot you got, the whack away from Connor Smith. They call it a penalty shot. Everyone's like, oh, did he do something illegal? And then I really hope it doesn't show the replay. Oh, just heresy by whoever edited this video. No, it wasn't the great Mark Perry. As Easton Cowan, as I mentioned, comes in so slow. You look like Patrick Kane during the All-Star game. Comes in and finally beats George 5-hole, making it 4-2 and kind of killing the momentum, if you will, for the Attack. But before that penalty shot, I'll be honest, as the guy sitting in the control room, I really had a feeling that the Attack were going to be able to come back in that game and really make it a close one against the OHL leading London Knights. But you see here, in the dying seconds, empty net, Ruslan Gazizov completes the hat trick and ends it with that one, ending it 5-2 in favor of the visiting London Knights, who I know the OHL, I know the Attack don't like, I know basically no one in the Midwest likes in the division with Guelph, Kitchener, and the Erie Otters. Again, Erie's so weird to be in the Midwest division, but I'll ask you guys, Sam and Tomislav, is there an extra gear when you guys play teams like London, Kitchener, and Guelph? Because as an Attack fan, we don't like them. They don't like us. So is there kind of that extra rivalry added when you guys play teams like London, Kitchener, and Guelph?
I think there is for sure. Obviously, I don't think we've won a game against London this year, right? So there's kind of, it almost sparks like a little bit of like frustration and anger within the players, and it definitely does bring out an extra gear in us that, you know, you wouldn't have if you've got nothing against a certain team. But definitely the rivalry we do have with them can definitely spark some pretty intense games. And you know, we went to shootout and overtime with them this year. They've been pretty good quality games, and that's just how it is against some of those top dogs, right?
Yeah, 100%. For rivalry games, we get up for those type of games. So.
Well, Thomas, I'm going to ask about your tattoo, because I keep looking down at it, and I see like a crashing wave on it. I'm not exactly sure. So can you explain to me the tattoo?
Yeah, it's a compass with the world map in it. The waves around it.
So what's that meaning to you?
It's just family.
Just family?
It's family stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, are you allowed to tell us?
I'll keep it to myself.
Keep it to yourself? You know what? That's fair enough.
There's
But
nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. It is a really good looking tattoo, though. I was going to ask about that as well.
I mean, the waves are what caught me off guard, because it's basically a black and white tattoo until you get to the waves, and then it starts flashing out with the blue, which again looks really nice. And that's why I wanted to make sure I asked you about it, just to, you know, give yourself a chance to shine yourself up a little bit, just a little bit.
Thanks.
But you know, continuing with you guys, again, hot week here at home, even including the London game. But you guys have again really turned around at the Bay Shore. And has that kind of gotten into the locker room? You guys feel like you've, you know, started like kind of pulling your way at home, starting to get some wins, some big wins here at home?
We've definitely had, like, when we were struggling at least, we definitely did have conversations about it. You know, whether it's the coaches coming in and talking to us about it or the leaders on the team, we have discussed, you know, what we need to do, how we need to do it, and trying to find like a better way, obviously, to improve. And now that we have gotten it, I feel like it has definitely, like, it's almost like the atmosphere has been a lot more inviting and it's not like any reason to stop. Obviously, let's keep pushing for success here, but it's definitely something like you walk into the rink and there's almost like a vibe to it. You know, when the team's doing better, it also kind of brings the best out of every individual.
Well, Tomislav, has that been the same feeling for you?
Yeah, well, we know that we play for more than just ourselves and play for this community, the fans, for Owen Sound. So it's nice that we're winning at home now too. So.
Well, you guys, we play for the smallest community. You play for the Owen Sound, the Grey Bruce Grey area. We are easily the smallest team in the OHL. We know it. We like to kind of lean into that. Is that kind of weird for you guys to play for the smallest community in the OHL? Because we talked about how tight-knit it is. We talked about how, you know, the community really kind of revolves around this team especially. You know, is that interesting for you guys compared to speaking to teams like London, teams like Windsor, where they're in such big communities where they're just one thing compared to speaking to all the other things you can do there? Here, we all got the attack. You guys are the only thing going on from September to March. You guys are it. And then we turn into lacrosse during the summer. So what is that for you guys?
Well, it's definitely something special. I think it's definitely something I look forward to, you know, being here, is knowing that we have such a tight bond in the community where, you know, you can look to your left or right and you see someone you recognize from the other day, wherever the case may be. I just feel like it's great for the social aspect of things, you know, being a player on the team. It is far from home for me and Tomislav as well. So just being able to build relationships within the community is super important for both of us.
Same thing for you, Tomislav?
Yeah, 100%. It's awesome knowing that a lot of people from Owen Sound are at our games, and they pack it. So
yeah.
And one thing I'd like to add too is I know we just mentioned that Owen Sound is the smallest community in the OHL, but as someone who's not necessarily from Owen Sound, it's probably the most passionate fan base, not one of the most passionate fan bases in the OHL. As we mentioned, I've had the pleasure to be rinkside for a few of these games, and just hearing the crowd cheer on the attack is just really special. I'm sure you guys feed off of that energy every game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, we move on to our last trivia question of the night. The great Mark Perry came up with down there in the truck. Whose record did Sam Sedley break for franchise career assists and points as a defenseman? And if you get this one right, calling in here to the Rogers station, talking to the great Mark Perry, you'll get a chance to go to tickets on Saturday, February 24th, when Windsor make their way here, make that long 5.5-hour drive from Windsor. And I will also be hosting that one, so I will be having the mohawk, wearing the suit, getting myself ready to talk to one of you from the Owen Sound Attack and also from the Spits, as I've done both their games. I think they've come to Owen Sound, so that's going to be a little bit interesting to see who I talk to from Windsor. But again, you know, it's hard to come up with questions for guys to come from Ottawa because you guys come from such a big community. So I want to keep talking about just like, I'll say the culture shock, because I'll be honest, my best friend's from Mississauga. He's from the big city. So he said, like he talks about all the time, coming from the big city to a smaller community like us, it sucks. Everything's closed at like 8, 10 o'clock. You can't order skip basically half, unless you're in Owen Sound, you can't order skip anywhere. Unlike when you guys are in big places like Ottawa, like Toronto, where everything's open 24 hours. Like, we talk about the city never sleeps. The city sleeps here. At like 8 o'clock, the city starts to go to sleep. Right? So what was that like for you guys, kind of getting used to the more country vibe?
Well, for me at least, I kind of feel like most of my childhood growing up was with my friends and family, and I feel like that's not something that changes from, you know, where you're living. So it's almost like there wasn't much of an adjustment for me to make because I kind of still have my friends, and yes, my family's still at home, but I've been able to build almost like a new one with my billet family, and I still talk to my family pretty frequently as well. So, you know, it's not like I'm losing anything from my big city, if you will, but there was like almost no adjustment for me, it felt like.
Well, same thing for you, Tomislav. What was the adjustment like moving from big city to the country?
It was fine. I like it. I like the small town feel. It's good.
You're probably the first city person I've ever spoken to that told me that, to be honest with you, Tomislav. Most city people I talk to say they hate it. They don't. It's a big culture shock to go from everything being open to everything being closed.
Yeah, well, that definitely can suck, of course, and there's a lot of sights to see, but maybe for younger life it's not the greatest, but we make the best of it, of course. So.
Well, before we hit the last highlight pack, there's one question I feel like I really got to ask you guys. I love this one. What's your favorite jersey? I spoke about, obviously liking the attack jerseys, especially the old ones. I own a couple. You've got, obviously, I said the Brantford one looked nice. What's your favorite jersey of all time? And I don't care if it's hockey or if you pick another sport, but what's your favorite jersey?
This might not be my favorite, but this is the one I'm thinking of right now. There's like this navy, it's like a dark blue Washington Capitals jersey. It's got like the stars on it and like the capital W.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's like a really sharp jersey, and I always liked it. It's pretty new, I want to say, but I saw it on TV one day. I was just in the living room with my dad, and we're like, those look really good. And I don't know, that just kind of sparked in my mind there.
See, I love the old Capital, the old Capitals logo, the one where the blue and white.
Yeah, those are nice
I love
too.
those jerseys.
Yeah.
I used to play, I think it was NHL 06 with Ovi on the cover. I remember those jerseys. Those jerseys were nice. Tomislav, how about for you?
I love our own Sound Attack black jerseys.
Who doesn't love those black jerseys?
They're nice.
What about the Grays jerseys? Because obviously those were hotcakes. You couldn't keep those things on the shelves. They don't even exist anymore. You can't even buy them.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's like an exclusive thing for this year, right? And I think they are nice. The barber pole isn't something you come across very often in hockey jerseys, but we managed to pull off the pretty good look. So, they definitely are up there. But I was just thinking more of where else can I get my jersey from? You know what I mean? But obviously, I think we have some pretty sharp uniforms.
I think it'd be pretty interesting having you guys wear the Grays jerseys and have the Ottawa 67s wearing theirs.
Yeah.
The battle of the barber poles.
That would be
pretty funny.
That would
Did we
be.
do that?
We weren't wearing the Grays, but when we did play them. Oh, we might have
I
actually.
think we were wearing the Grays.
Did you? I'm gonna have to try and find that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out there.
But we'll have to get the great Mark Perry to do some work. We'll now check out the last highlight pack we got. Game 4 of 4 when Mississauga took on the Owen Sound Attack down in Mississauga the last time and actually, pardon me, we don't have a chance to look at that one. But
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because, again, Mississauga, the last time Owen Sound gets a chance to go down there, what it looks like is they seem to be moving. I think Brampton's been the location. I'm not sure if that's ironed out yet. I think it's still kind of in the air, but they won't be in Mississauga any longer, which does suck for Owen Sound fans, because, again, we won the OHL championship there.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the OHL championship, of course, and it's the only one we've got, so you love looking at the banners. Is that, what's that like for you guys, looking up at that one banner? Because we only got one.
Well, it definitely motivates us to go get another if we can. Obviously, it's good to see someone's done it, because you can kind of, yes, I think there's a beauty of being the first to do something, but also having kind of an inspiration, if you will, that it is obtainable. Doesn't matter if you're a small community, big community, like anyone can do it as long as you put the right amount of work in. There's nothing stopping us from going all out, right?
Well, we only got about a minute left, so my last question is going to be a fun one. What's your hottest take? We'll end with this. What's your hottest take? We'll go with sports. What's your hottest take in sports right now?
Hottest take in sports right now? I just don't think I'm going to be able to come up with something
So
that...
if we brought you on Sports Rap and you wanted to wow the guys, what would you say? To make Manny Pave's eyes bulge out of his head more than they already do when I speak? I'd say, you could say Mahomes ain't the greatest quarterback.
I don't think he is.
There you go.
There you go.
If that's a hot take, well,
There's the answer to that one.
I think Brady's still up there.
Do you think he's close?
Mahomes, I think he's got a little bit more to prove first. Yeah, he is young. He's got lots of accolades to his name at a young age, but I don't know. There's something about Brady that just kind of, it's almost like he revolutionized the game.
You went through 2 different eras. When
Yeah.
you guys had to run the ball a lot to when you got used to pass the ball a lot. So, look, Tomislav, I'll let you go quick before we go. Hottest take?
Hot take, Yager can still play in the NHL.
Oh, I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a fact. I can go all with that one. But we'll let it go for Tomislav, Brennan, and Sam Ethier, myself, Spencer Byers, and Lucas. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Sports Rap. We'll see if Nick Kennedy's back next week, but if he's not, we'll have to see who gets a chance to host it here.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
With clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play, and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
Thursdays on City TV.
Police! Go!
Go! Drop the gun!
Track him down.
NYPD!
We're gonna find your daughter.
You did this to yourself. It's now or never.
Watch all new episodes of Law & Order